My name is Samantha Blair, and I'm going to be a junior at Colorado College this year. I took advantage of the internship funding program this past summer to experience two internships, one with Rhode Island Monthly Magazine in Providence, Rhode Island, for the editorial department, and the other for the communications department at Major League Lacrosse out of Boston. So having two opportunities to explore different career paths that I could take after college was a really great opportunity for me. I loved both my internships for different reasons. I think the biggest difference between the two was the environment. I really liked working at Major League Lacrosse because I worked with 15 other interns at a big table, and everything was very creative and collaborative, and I really liked that environment. But I also really liked Rhode Island Monthly because although I was in a cubicle all day, I got to leave the office to go on trips and explorations to work on blog entries or stories that I was writing. While working at Rhode Island Monthly, I got a glimpse into the editing process and the nitty-gritty details that constantly need to be paid attention to. I had repetitive weekly and monthly obligations in order to keep routine and scheduled posts online and in a physical magazine. I also gained experience in the creative process of coming up with ideas and then pitching them to my supervisors, and then having the pleasure of going out and bringing those stories to life to share with everyone. So all of the steps of the writing, the editing process are skills that I can take with me from the internship. While working at Rhode Island Monthly, I learned to talk to a lot of different people. I found out that people love to talk about themselves and their passions, and I also learned how to ask the hard questions as well as the easy and the interesting ones. I also learned the importance and the difficulty of fact-checking, whether it was electronically having to look up someone on the internet, or having to call them and verify what they were wearing on a night or how to spell their name. Also, the most important thing I found when I was writing and blogging was to make everything relatable. People need a reason to read your piece, and if you're not writing about something that affects everyone or affects the majority of the people, who are you really appealing to? So I think those are some of the most important things I took away from this internship. What's next after Rhode Island Monthly? I decided that while I loved researching and then writing about my subjects, I found it was often frustrating because the magazine wasn't allowed to take a stance on anything, and there were a lot of subjects that I covered that I found were important, whether it be to people's health or the environment, that I thought it was crucial that those stories were shared and those point of views were made clear, but because you're talking to a neutral audience, it was hard to convey those strong opinions. So I think maybe from here I could look into investigative journalism or maybe travel writing. I really enjoy traveling, and the researching process and the interviewing, the skills that I gained from this internship would be really helpful if I were to look into that. For Major League Lacrosse, we had weekly meetings with the commissioner every Monday where we would learn about different topics like ticket sales, broadcasting, the dynamics of the sports league, weekly responsibilities regarding the team's communications department, and we worked on promotional and special events production. One of the special events that I personally got to help out with was the All-Star Game. I helped with merchandise and halftime show and setting up and tearing down, and it was really great. And I also got to help prep for the championship game. I think when people think of sports journalism or communications in the sports world, they think it's glamorous and you get to hang out with the players. And I learned that while it's not so glamorous, it's definitely very interesting. Things I learned from the internship at the MLL were the timing and the research that goes into each piece that we write. I used a lot of coach and player interviews to build stories around, and I realized that it's very hard to write big stories and to keep track of all the little details, but people are depending on you to give them the correct stats and the ages and all of the little things that go into a piece that normally get overlooked. So I realized that the fact-checking was very important. I really want to thank everyone who contributed to the fund. This summer was incredible. I learned a lot. I met a lot of really great people, and I have a little more insight as to, as a writer, what I want to do after school, and I hope to continue building on those experiences.